All right. Thank you all for being here. My name is Brad McMullen. I am the Folklife Specialist here at the Nevada Arts Council, and I'm going to spend the next however long this goes for, no more than an hour, talking about our FY27 Folklife Grant opportunities. We're recording this so that way if people aren't here, they can watch it later. But yeah, I'm just going to be talking about the three different funding options we have for fiscal year 27 under our Folklife program area, which is the Folklife Artist Grant, the Folklife Community Grant, and the Nevada Heritage Fellowship. If at any point you've got any questions, hold on to that towards the end, and I will ask you all if you've got any questions then, or feel free to put it in the chat. And I will get to it at the end. I know I'm someone who, if I don't write down the question, I will forget by the time it's time to ask. So that way we can keep it contained. So, like I said, you're here at a webinar about FY27 Folklife grants. And my name is Brad McMullen, once again, Folklife Specialist here at the Nevada Arts Council. I'm joined on this call by a couple other of my colleagues here at the Nevada Arts Council. So from the grants program area, we've got Alina Patton and Alex Falds. If you two want to just say hi real quick, they are part of our grants team.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Alina Patton, and I am the new manager analyst here with the Nevada Arts Council, and I am located here in the Southern office. And I will go ahead and pass it over to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am the administrative three for the grants team. Generally, if you have any questions, you're welcome to give me a call. And if it needs to go to someone else, I can always direct it over to them or I'll get their questions. And I'm in the Northern office in Reno.
Thank you both. We do have a third grants team member, Stephanie Montgomery, but she is out on medical leave. So we're sending her the best wishes. She is also very relevant to what we do. Should also add, I am based in the southern office here in Las Vegas, but I do travel all around the state because unlike the other program areas, I am just me. Everyone else has at least a northern and a southern person. We're also joined today by Young Ku, our marketing. I can't remember your actual title, Young, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself and say what that is.
Sorry, my very long title. So I'm the Marketing and Communications Specialist with the Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, and the main program that I'm working with is Nevada Arts Council. So I take care of anything marketing communications websites for NAC, and I am based in the Reno office.
All right. Thank you, Jan. And thank you to those of you joining us. As a reminder, this is the FY27 Folklife Grant webinar. If you're looking for another webinar, you're in the wrong place. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the right place. If you've got any questions, just put them in the chat and I will answer them at the end of my presentation. So, like I said, we've got three different funding opportunities for the Folklife program area in fiscal year 27. I've got two grants, the Folklife Artist Grant and the Folklife Community Grant, and then a fellowship, the Nevada Heritage Fellowship. And two separate kind of models, but first I'm going to talk about the grants. I'm going to do kind of a general overview of the different funding ideas, and then I'll do a deep dive into each individual opportunity. So, for the grants, the Folklife Artist Grant and the Folklife Community Grant, both of those are administered on a rolling basis. They will open up on May 1st of this year, but you don't have to get an application in until at least 30 days before the proposed project. That said, because it's administered on a rolling basis, we just award the grants in the order they are received until we are out of funding. I ran out of funds by July this year for this fiscal year. So I encourage you, it opens up May 1st. I encourage you, even if your whatever program you want funded is happening in 2027 or late 2026, try and get it in early because otherwise, once I'm out of funding, I'm unfortunately out of funding and can't award any more grants. Both grants, the process starts by giving me a phone call or sending me an email and letting me know what kind of project you're thinking of working on. And I will work with you on if it's a good fit. I'll be asking you some of the questions you're going to have to fill out. And you'll need an okay from me before you're good to apply. And then you can apply, it gets submitted, it goes to the grants team, Stephanie, Alina, and Alex, to look over and make sure that bureaucratically everything is above board. And then it goes to me to approve on a content basis, which I've had a conversation with you. If I don't tell you that, yes, this is a good fit and you're going to get approved, you're not going to get to that point where you need to get approved by me again. So that's how the process works. For the Folklife Artist Grant, it awards up to $3,000 to an individual who is a Nevada resident, at least 21 years of older, and is a non-student. And it is for any kind of learning focused or presentation focused traditional arts project taking place between July 1st, 2026 and June 30th, 2027. Folklife Community Grant is up to $5,000 for an organization or public institution. For that $5,000, if your organization has an annual budget of less than $50,000, aka if you just do this little postcard for your IRS paperwork when you do your taxes for your organization, we don't ask that you match that $5,000. It is just, here is $5,000, go and do your project. If your budget is over that $50,000, if you're filling out full IRS paperwork for your taxes, we're going to ask that you contribute $5,000 to match that funds. That can either be a cash match or it can be in kind, recognizing the volunteer contributions to the project. Any kind of, the organization you're renting a venue from is giving you a discount. That's in kind stuff. If you've got questions, you can reach out to the grants team. They can help you figure out what counts as in kind or what doesn't. And it's the same time frame, July 1st of 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Any kind of project focus on the transmission or presentation of traditional arts, what the arts that are specific to your community, is what's eligible for the Folklife Community Grant. The one thing, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, you do need a UEI number with sam.gov, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. So that's the grant opportunities. And then I've got this fellowship. So the Nevada Heritage Fellowship, that is not for a specific project. The Nevada Heritage Fellowship is the state level equivalent of the National Endowment for the Arts National Heritage Fellowship, if you're familiar with that. It is an award recognizing someone or a group for their contributions to Nevada's culture, specifically through their excellence in their community's art forms. So it will open up, I forgot to put the open date, so correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it opens up in February or March, if one of the grants people can correct me on it. But the big deadline is it is due by May 1st of 2026 at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We cannot accept late applications, unfortunately, so make sure you get it in by 5 p.m. This is not an 11:59 p.m. situation. The award is up to, it's $5,000. There's no up to here. It is just, you have done great work. We are awarding you $5,000. Once again, it is open to individuals who are Nevada residents, 21 years or older, and non-students. And it is recognizing your work over your lifespan, that you have served as an important tradition bearer for our community, for your community, and therefore for the state, that you have helped keep your community's traditions alive and pass them from your elders on to the next generation. And it's not, like I said, not project specific or anything. It is just recognizing your body of work or your group's body of work. And thank you. It opens up on March 2nd. And that one, you don't have to talk to me to apply, but I encourage you to, so that way it's good to have the conversation. But I'll go over kind of what the panel will be looking for that one, because the fellowship is adjudicated not by me or other staff. That goes to a panel of experts who evaluate your responses and score them and make a suggestion to our board, who votes to decide who the fellowship will go to. So I kind of went over this, the distinguishing features. If you're an individual, you can go for both, in fact, of the Folklife Artist Grant and the Nevada Heritage Fellowship. They are doing separate things. You can apply for both. The Folklife Artist Grant is something that is specific to a project. It is something where you have a specific teaching project, an exhibit, a festival. It is a tangible thing that has a discrete time frame occurring between July 1st of this year and June 30th of next year. The Heritage Fellowship is just recognizing your body of work over your lifespan. We do ask that the work samples you submit are from the last, at least most of them are from the last 5 years, but it is recognizing a body of excellence, not just some specific project that you are currently working on. And then, so what are some examples? What are the kind of things where you're going to go for which grant? So the Folklife Artist Grant, once again, supports traditional arts projects by folk artists and culture bearers. Eligible products can be learning focused or presentation focused. Funds can be used for discrete costs related to the project. For example, materials, supplies, artist fees, travel, costume, stuff like that. So some examples of what the kind of projects you might see here are things like a rawhide braiding apprenticeship. If a member of one of our indigenous communities traveling to a museum to learn from the museum's collection of their ancestors' work. A community dance festival. The folk arts, traditional arts, what my program area is here for is looking at the art forms that are grounded in your community's traditions. So think about the artistic practices, regardless of how formal or informal they are, that were passed down from your community's elders or others in your community, and that you are passing on to future members of your community. Easy examples are, some of what I talked about here. The different, native tribes here in Nevada have basketry traditions that have been come down since time immemorial and are being passed on to future generations. Basque dancing, Hawaiian dancing, all the different ethnic communities here in Nevada have their own cultural art forms, culturally specific styles of singing, styles of dancing, styles of visual arts, styles of marking time. So community festivals like Lunar New Year. That is an example of something that is culturally specific. The Chinese celebrate it in one specific way. The Vietnamese celebrate it in a different way. Korean community celebrates it another way. They've got culturally specific ways of marking time. That is a traditional art form. But it's not just your ethnic communities. It is also occupational communities. I mentioned rawhide braiding. Cowboys have their own traditions that get passed down from old cowhand to new cowhand, and so on and so forth. A lot of those are gear related. How do you braid rawhide to make stuff to do the work? How do you make a saddle? But also performance, telling a story, doing poetry. There are specific things that make cowboy poetry its own genre. Ski bums have their own traditions, neon workers, burlesque dancers, showgirls on the strip, casino dealers have art forms and stories that are specific to them as an occupational group. Those are the kinds of things that are also folk arts and traditional arts. They are bound to a specific community. And the same way, Las Vegans have their own traditions. Eldorado Days. There are things we do here in Las Vegas that mark us as Las Vegans. They are these cultural celebrations. These are these art forms that mark us apart from other cities in the state. Renoites, I think is the proper term, have their own artistic tradition. Alcoans have their own tradition. People up in Jackpot, up on the border with Idaho, have their own traditions, celebrations, art forms that mark them as people from Jackpot. And those kinds of traditions are also something that are eligible for folklife funding. It is any kind of art form that you can talk about the cultural specificity. Why is this specific to your culture group? Whatever that culture group is. You can also think in cootie catchers for kids. These are things informally passed along from generation of child to child. How you play tag, how you play hide and seek. All of these things are also folk arts. Unfortunately, I can't give a 10-year-old a folk arts grant for teaching how to play tag the best, but it theoretically would be eligible. Same with ghost stories, UFO stories, all that kind of stuff falls under this umbrella of folklife and traditional arts. So for a Folklife Community Grant, that supports organizations and institutions. So your nonprofits in the community, but also your local libraries, your local museums, our tribal governments, their cultural departments, tribal museums, any kind of organization that is doing some kind of celebration or programming involving their community's traditions. So any kind of event where they are bringing in cultural specialists, that they are bringing the community together to celebrate their community, its history, and its art forms. So things like I mentioned, Lunar New Year's celebrations, Akimatsuri for any kind of seasonal celebration for a community, powwow. That is a great example of a cultural get-together celebrating cultural art forms. Quilting bees. If you've got a quilting group, quilts are a great example of a traditional art form. So coming together to quilt together is an example of the kind of event that is fundable through a Folklife Community Grant. And then the Heritage Fellowship, it recognizes tradition bearers living in Nevada whose body of work has contributed to the Nevada's traditional arts heritage. Once again, no project, it is specifically recognizing a body of work. So someone like the master saddle maker, a master basket weaver, a basket drummer, a master dancer, someone who's spent the time, learning the tradition and passing it on to others in their community. That's the kind of people we're looking to celebrate for the Heritage Fellowship. So I've kind of gone over the generals for now to do the deep dive into the Folklife Artist Grant. So once again, it is up to $3,000. You can ask for as much of that or as little of that as you need for your project, as long as that project is between July 1st, 2026 and June 30th, 2027. It's supporting traditional arts projects by folk artists and culture bearers. So one important thing, you do not necessarily need to be the artist yourself. If there is someone in your community who is a masterful artist but lacks the technical skills to do the application, I am fully understanding of that. Just the project as it's put on needs to center the either passing along of traditional arts or how you're presenting your community traditional arts. So the project can either be something that is learning focused, such as a one-on-one apprenticeship with a master artist, some kind of group learning class, acts of cultural reclamation. So like I mentioned earlier, an indigenous person here in Nevada, if their tribe has a tradition that has died out, usually that is not because of a lack of interest on the tribe side, that is because of general forces at work in the world caused various traditions to die out. But there are other related tribes that still have that tradition going. There are museum collections you can learn from. Tribal members can take take this grant to go and learn to help revive that tradition amongst their community. Similarly, Nevada is a very diasporic state. Most Nevadans were not born here in the state. So we've got just about every cultural community present, but that doesn't mean there is an artist who is a master of some cultural tradition that that community celebrates. So people can use this grant to go travel within the US and Mexico and Canada, to go and learn from a master to bring that tradition back here and practice it here in Nevada and help spread it to their fellow Nevadans. So, going down to Mexico to learn more about charreria. And become a better horseman. Going, African American member, going to the South and learning about tradition practiced there that people lost when they moved out to Nevada. All these kinds of things are things you can do. Or, just need to cross over to California or Utah. That's also acceptable. And it's also, if you are a master artist and have someone you want to teach in one of those states, you can do that too. But as long as, make sure to get a Nevadan in there too, because we want to make sure it keeps getting practiced here in Nevada. Similarly, presentation focused projects are also eligible. So many times there is an individual doing the work of a nonprofit that just lacks that nonprofit status, doing community celebrations, community exhibitions, community festivals, readings, stuff like that. That is also a valid use of this grant. The thing I'm going to want to see when I talk to you in that conversation is, evidence of engagement with the community. If there is some community archive that already exists that is being engaged, that's a big plus. I want to see how, even if you are not an artist necessarily, how you are engaging your community's history and traditions and making sure to perpetuate those traditions and artistic practices in your community. And the grant fees can be used for artist fees. So paying the master artist, paying any learners, you can pay them as well for their time. Facility costs you need for the event, any permanent equipment you need, as long as it's not more than $500. Consumable materials and supplies, so reeds for weaving, leather for stamping leather, costumes for dance groups. Instruments fall under permanent equipment, but costumes are consumable supplies. The one thing we can't fund there is we cannot pay for food based on both state guidelines and federal guidelines. That said, don't let that discourage you. Traditional foodways are an art form. So recipes specific to your culture, specific to your family, those are actual fundable things you can get to pass along. Food festivals celebrating traditional foodways are eligible for this. It's just we can't pay for your supplies for that. So if that's what you want to do, talk to me. Production costs, marketing, promotion, assistance, and marketing your event, as well as travel. We can pay for if you're bringing, someone out of state to help you learn, or you're traveling out of state to bring the tradition back here. You can pay for your bus fare, your airfare, can pay for your hotel room. We just can't pay you for the per diem because that's food and we're not allowed to pay for that. So once again, eligibility for individuals. You have to be a member of the community whose arts are being presented, and you have to demonstrate you've got a deep knowledge of those artistic practices and associated cultural traditions. I'm not going to fund someone to go and learn someone else's culture. I need to see that you are a member of the culture and that you know what you're talking about already. Even if you're trying to learn, there's a basis of knowledge to demonstrate that you're seriously invested, not just trying to profit off someone's culture. You have to be a U.S. resident or have legal permanent resident status. You have to be at least 21 years old. You can't be enrolled as a degree-seeking student in a field related to the type of grant for which you're applying. And you have to be a current Nevada resident and been a resident for at least 1 year. These are all the bureaucratic guidelines that the state and federal government gives us to give you money. So there is not much we can do about any of those. What we'll want to see in the application, we'll want to see your proof of residency. So if you've got, really all we need to see there is your driver's license, as long as it was issued more than a year ago. And if your driver's license expired recently and is less than a year old, you can just send us, here's my current driver's license and here's the old one. Because that gives us that you are a Nevada resident, that you have been here more than a year. That will meet the criteria. Obviously, there's other things you can submit, but if you want to keep it simple, Send us a picture of your driver's license or your state ID if you do not drive. There are plenty of people who don't drive. Um, then you're going to have to answer some narrative questions. So I'm going to want to know, what is the art form? What is the cultural community? What is your, membership in this cultural community? What's your familiarity with this art form? What marks someone as great in that art form? Um, and then I'm going to want to know the project details and goals. So what is the project? This is where it's going to split off. Is this a learning project or a presentation project? If it's a learning project, who is the teacher? Are you the teacher or are you the learner? Information about the other person, their expertise, their knowledge. What are the goals? What are the objectives? It's going to be laid out like, what are you hoping to have learned? What are you hoping to have taught? How will this be relevant to people in your community? And then if it's more of a presentation focused, what are the goals for the event? Who is going to be involved? What artists are going to be involved? Just kind of the basic information so that I know that you know what you're doing. And then, like I said, apprenticeship details, group class details, community event details. All the questions I'm going to be asking in the application are the things I'm going to be asking you on that phone call. So you're not going to get to writing it all out until I talk to you and know you can answer the questions, to try and make sure that you're not spending time writing something that's not going to get approved. I'm going to want to know in the grant what your budget is. We have to know how you're spending the money. Afterwards, you'll have to do a final report where you're going to need to give us receipts for how you spent the money, because that's what the state and federal government want to see from us, your receipts. So we have to ask that of you and to know how you're going to spend the money before we give it to you. Going to want to see artistic work samples, so samples of the artist's involved work, so we can, mostly so I can be like, there's so many talented artists here. I'm so jealous. And then one thing that stands out for what I want that is not relevant to other grants is I ask people to submit 2 letters of community support. And so what that means is I need letters from people in your community. It can be other elders, it can be peers, it can be organizations. I just want some evidence that of your community, that you are based in the community you are saying you are. Because like I said, I do not want to fund someone profiting off someone else's culture. So I'm going to ask that you have a way to prove and demonstrate you are a member of your culture, that you are someone who is practicing this tradition. I need to see those examples, and the best way to do it is to get some letters of support from others in your community. These do not need to be long. These don't need to be, I need a fancy letter of rec. It can just be, a peer talking about, oh yeah, like they've always been interested in this thing, and I think it's so neat, and I can't wait to see what they do. It can be a parent, a grandparent talking about, oh yes, as a kid, they were always interested in learning this tradition. It can be things like that. It does not need to be a super stressful thing. I just want some, I want to get a sense of who you are as an artist and as an applicant, and what this project will mean for your community. Because folk arts are ultimately all about that community connection and what the art form is doing for your cultural community. Um, then we offer some space for additional support materials. You don't need them, but it always helps for me to make the case if anyone ever questions me, why did you give that grant? I'm like, well, it's about the culture, it's about this. And look, they've got examples of how they're going to market it. They've got how they're going to evaluate things. They've got letters of agreement with other artists involved. It just helps make the case stronger, but they are not, strictly speaking, necessary to submit. And then the review criteria, you have to talk to me. The grants team is making sure it's complete. Bureaucratically, you cross those check boxes to be eligible. And then in my conversation with you, what I'm asking you to prove in the written portion is that artistic excellence, because that is what the NEA requires of us to demonstrate for anyone we grant to, and establish the artistic merit. And so I get that through our conversation. I get that through those letters of support. I get those through those work samples. And I get those from, I will be doing, some research on my own about this tradition and everything. So that way, if anyone ever calls me and like, well, why is, this specific form of basket weaving, why is this a folk art? Why is this deserving of funding? I get to go and say, no, as an academically credentialed folklorist, here are the things of why this is culturally specific, why this is culturally important, and look at what great work they're doing. So it is me using my expertise to make sure resources are given to communities practicing their traditions. Then there's the Folklife Community Grant. So once again, that is up to $5,000. If your organization or institution's budget is less than $50,000, you don't have to match that. If it's over that, we'll ask you to match it. Time period of support, July 1st through June 30th, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. And it's supporting any kind of the same kind of projects. It can be a teaching project, learning project, community festival, but done by an organization or an institution. So things like festivals, cultural events, concerts, gatherings, giant, bigger scale classes being organized by a group, not just an individual. And so for organizations, you have to be based here in Nevada. You've got to be 501c3 with the IRS. You have to be actively incorporated with the Nevada Secretary of State. You got to have a federal employer identification number, and you got to have a UEI number from sam.gov. Does not need to be an active number. You can just go to sam.gov. You need to sign up for the number, but it is something the federal government requires us to get from all of our organizations that are applying. For public institutions, once again, this is kind of local government, so city government, county government, tribal government, state government, any kind of governmental entity here in Nevada. Agencies that exist within the same entity are eligible to apply independently when they have different distinct mission statements and their own separate advisory boards. So it has to be, different cultural centers, different libraries. If they're sufficiently distinct, they can apply separately. Otherwise, it all falls under one kind of entity. And same, as long as they've got their own budget and facility for schools and libraries, that counts them as distinct and eligible for these funds. Here, it's more or less the same questions I'm asking as for the Folklife Artist Grant. I want to know what the project is, what's the cultural backing, and since it's an organization, it's not necessarily the artists organizing it, it's, arts administrators. So I'll want to know who are the staff that are involved in organizing it, what's their connection to their community, and then who are the participating artists and what traditions are they in, what, is their cultural connection, what's their background. I'll need samples of their work, the same I would for if they were an individual artist applying. Once again, I will need letters of community support. So that can be from artists involved, other organizations in your community, individuals in the community, talking about the work your organization does and this event and why it is important to the cultural community being practiced and celebrated here. And then the same kind of additional marketing samples, publicity samples, evaluation forms, letters of agreement, printed materials about your organization, just kind of the materials that you might have on hand to help make the case for why you are a good fit for this funding. Once again, you got to talk to me first. The grants team will evaluate that bureaucratically. We are good to go. And then I will work with our conversation, the printed material, and my own research about the tradition to say, yes, this meets our standards of artistic excellence and artistic merit. And then there's the Heritage Fellowship. So this one's the different one. So once again, it is an award, not a grant. So it is $5,000. You don't get to ask for less. You just get $5,000. It will open up in March and close May 1st, 2026 at 5 p.m. And it is recognizing tradition bearers for their body of work. It is awarded as honorarium. It is not specific to any project. We are looking to recognize people who have outstanding cultural and artistic achievements across a body of work that have worked to support the awareness and appreciation of their culture and their traditions. So it is important to note that This is open to not just the artists in their community. It is open to the archivists, to the scholars, to the historians who have done the work to preserve their community's heritage, preserve their community's traditions. It is open to those folks. Typically, we have only awarded one each year. So most likely it will go to an artist, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So eligibility, it's the people who are eligible for this grant are the people who are actively perpetuating and disseminating their community's traditions and traditional artistic practices. They are someone who learned their community's traditions through active engagement in their community, and they are someone who practices their traditions primarily within their community for and with other community members. So the big thing I want to see is that your pursuit of this art form of your cultural practice is thoroughly grounded in your cultural community. And what does this mean for your community? And how does the community celebrate you and embrace you as an artist? And so it's the same kind of eligibility criteria: Nevada resident, US citizen, or legal permanent resident, 21 years old, can't be a degree seeking student. You have to be actively participating in the discipline. You can apply as a group. So, say a mariachi band, a Basque dance group, a drumming circle for powwow. Any one of these can apply as a group. Just make sure you talk to me so we're clear on the best way to phrase things in your application, because bureaucratically, we need one person to be the applicant, but that person can be applying on behalf of their group and for the role that group has played, not them as an individual. You can only receive the Nevada Heritage Fellowship twice in your life. The Heritage Fellowship has been going for 2 years now, so whoever gets it for fiscal year for 2027 will be the third person. So we're not at risk at that happening yet, but good thing to note. And we also, the Nevada Heritage Fellowship is not the only fellowship the Nevada Arts Council offers. We also have our Artist Fellowship Awards. So you can only apply for one of the fellowships, not both in the same year. The Artist Fellowships, they change which discipline they recognize annually. So if your discipline isn't being recognized that year, whether it's visual arts, performing arts, literary arts, you can apply for the Heritage Fellowship regardless of what your art form, as long as it's traditional. If you are a performing artist, you might consider the year they're doing the Artist Fellowship applying for the Performing Arts Fellowships and not doing the Nevada Heritage Fellowship, and vice versa. But if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. So what I'm going to want to see, what we want to see for the Heritage Fellowship is we ask that you provide an artist statement, an applicant statement. So something that describes your artistic tradition, the contributions you've made to the tradition, any relevant recognitions you've received from your community, and explain why your work deserves statewide recognition. It should center on explaining and describing your body of work, the specific traditional art form you consider yourself most accomplished in, and the role that art form plays in your community, rather than sharing information about yourself as an individual or a group. So it's your chance to talk about the art form you do, the traditions you have practiced and kept alive, the role it plays in the community, and why it's important. Once again, I really want to see that grounding in community and the excellence you have been recognized for in your community, in that tradition. And then artistic work description, we ask that you provide at least 5 and no more than 10 work samples. So the artistic work description is your chance to describe those samples and provide context, because the panel reviewing the applications, they will be folklorists, they will be people knowledgeable about how specific, traditions work and cultural art forms work, but they're not necessarily an expert in your tradition. You are the expert in your tradition. So this is your chance to explain, this is what the tradition is about, here is what this piece is about, here's what this work is, and how to describe why that's important and what it says about your culture. And so, since it's a panel, we provide criteria for the panelists to judge the different applicants on. So we ask that they look for clear demonstration of the artist's excellence within their tradition. That is 10 points. A clear demonstration of the artist's significance within their tradition, which is 10 points. And evidence of artistic impact or contribution to living cultural heritage, which is 10 points. So to dive in a little deeper, that first criteria of artist excellence, it's how good is your art? What is, the art form you are practicing? How well are you doing it? How well have you described, what it is, what marks excellence in your tradition? Because that is not necessarily universal. If there is something that, your community values as excellent, take the time to describe that in your artist statement, in your work samples. How is the art you are doing matter, and why is it lauded by the community? And for the people who are applying who might not be artists per se, but are more keeping their community's traditions alive, doing the kind of archival work, doing the work to pass along culture in ways that are not immediately obvious to someone who is not of the culture. It is a higher barrier, unfortunately. But there are ways to describe, here is what this art form is, here is how I have engaged with it, and why it is excellent. And I am happy to talk to anyone at length about the best ways to do that. For the second criteria, artist significance. Why is the work you've done important? Why has it mattered to your community? And this is something, I mean, obviously you should talk about this in your statement, but this is where those letters of support really come in key. Those are where your fellow community members can explain why the work you do is important and why it matters, why your work has helped keep this cultural community going. And that's where those letters of support really come in crucial. And same for artistic impact or contribution. It's not just you reflecting on your legacy, it's your fellow community members talking about how important the work you've done is. And so we can see why and why this work has played a role in your community, and therefore not just your community, Nevada's cultural community, because they're all connected and intertwined. And that's all I've got. Are there any questions? And so I see in Kat, you asked, what do traditional art projects include? Like I said, it is any kind of arts project that is culturally specific. So things that have cultural connections, cultural continuity, and it is the thing, the art form matters in a way it does not necessarily for other things. And what I mean by that is a the medium matters. So say you were someone who wanted to do a photography project about your cultural heritage. That unfortunately would not be a traditional arts grant. That would be a great fit for some of our other grants. But because the art form being practiced is not the traditional one, there's not really, traditional styles of photography the way there are, say, traditional clothing, traditional sewing, traditional dance. So I want to see, some kind of engagement with, my Ukrainian heritage and traditional dress. The folk arts project would be learning to sew traditional Ukrainian clothing. It would be traditional styles of embroidery. It would not be a photography project of my grandma's clothing. Similarly, quilts. Quilting is something practiced by a lot of different cultural communities. The traditional arts project would be learning to quilt, studying my grandmother's quilts where she used this very specific quilt stitch and practicing that and learning to do that. That is a traditional arts project, not I'm going to take photos of my grandmother's quilts and make a digital quilt based on different squares she did and recombine them in different ways. That is not necessarily a traditional arts project. What matters is the art form. Now, I don't want this to sound like you have to just keep doing things the way your grandparents did. That is not the case at all. Folk life is defined by both continuity and change. So, as the people learning these art forms, you are making them new. You are changing them from what your elders taught you in a way that will make sense to your current cultural context, your community's cultural context, as well as make sense for future generations. So, let's say you're a weaver, and your traditional materials are you can't get them for whatever reason, and you want to experiment with a new material. That is still valid. You are using your traditions, you are pushing them in new contexts because you are in diaspora, very probably. And the materials you could get are not available here in Nevada, here in Vegas, whatever. So you're going to try out, how do I do this with this kind of fiber? That is valid. You are pushing your tradition in new ways, and that is a valid thing traditional artists have done for generations and will continue to do for generations. So, what matters is the art form, that you are practicing the art form of that you have learned from others in your community and are passing on to others. And you can make changes. I want to see changes, but it has to be grounded in what's come before. And you need to explain why these changes still are part of the tradition, and so on and so forth. Uh, yes, thank you, Jan. I will stop sharing my screen so y'all don't just stare at a black void. Are there any other questions? Go ahead.
Thank you for that presentation. I think what you guys are doing are like really great. I was actually on the presentation yesterday and just trying to get an idea of like the different grants that are available for us and the artists that we support. So essentially, we're a nonprofit music publishing company, and so we're trying to help artists with like education, whether it's like financials or helping with their royalty management and getting them placements and exposing their music and things like that. And so we want to be able to, of course, apply for some of these things on our own as a nonprofit, but then also pushing this to the artists as well as individuals. And so hearing what you're saying in regards to like what's traditional and kind of what's not, primarily we're working with up and coming artists, and a lot of them we also want to have like events that include like beatboxing and breakdancing and all these other kind of traditional things that are especially specific for the Black community, but I know it's something that's also practiced, like you said, like in other places, but where it stemmed from was very culturally in the African American community. And so I'm just wondering if like those kind of things would still qualify.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The short answer is yes, those qualify because, like I said, I mean, all these various art forms. I mean, there is a history of cultural appropriation. Culture becomes diffuse, but things like beatboxing, things like hip hop, R&B, all of these are very specific art forms with very specific cultural histories, grounding them in the Black community. And other communities have come in and taken them what they will and made new traditions of them. I mean, reggaeton is very much mixing traditional Latino sounds with Black sounds and making it our own new tradition. Those are still traditional art forms, and it's the thing I'll ask you for. It's not just how good of a beatboxer are you, how good of a hip hop artist are you. And how is your art form as practiced based in this cultural history and this cultural legacy. And it's the same thing I'd ask of a punk musician, because punk is its own specific cultural art group with its own specific cultural history of what punk music sounds like, and so on and so forth. It's about demonstrating the cultural continuity and how these things connect to what your culture values.
Okay, perfect. I'll let Irma ask her
Oh yeah,
question.
Irma, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, it's no question for you, Brad, but I'm excited about her project. And I just want to say to please reach out to Winchester. We have a program called The Originals, and we're trying to promote creatives here in Las Vegas who write their own music, who have their own music to showcase here at the theater. We have a small theater, 200 seats. So please reach out to us. The current supervisor right now, but the person in charge of programming is Julie Naves. And I just didn't want to miss this opportunity. I know it's not for that, but this is a good way. I mean, Brad has always connected people, and this is great. Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. You said it was the Winchester program?
Yes, Winchester Cultural Center. You can reach our phone number 702-455-7340 and ask for Julie.
702-455-7340.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any connections that we can to help support these artists, I think it's a great opportunity for them, and like I said, we just want to educate them on, how to become their own business and not be taken advantage of by a lot of these, predatory like music publishing companies and they have their own knowledge so that they understand how to walk into deals and make their, own their own deals, become their own co-publishers and, get knowledge. And so, I guess back to more questions that I have for you, Brad, in regards to being on the nonprofit side. I was on the, like I said, webinar yesterday. Are we able to, if we're working on a particular project, festival, whatever it is, and we find that it falls between two different grants, the project grant and the Folklife grant. I know that yesterday, I think it was Ren who said that we can kind of combine certain grants. Like, are we able to use the same project to apply to different grants?
So first, Irma, if you could please put your phone number in the chat. There's someone who asked it there in case you didn't see that. But Irma, if you want to share that in the chat, that would be useful. So unfortunately, there are different rules about which grants can be combined in which ways. I do not remember those off the top of our head, and I'm not sure that anyone other than Stephanie knows those off the top of her head, and she is unfortunately out. I don't believe, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alina or Alex, or we can follow up with you on this. You can't use a grant for two different grants for the same project because of various state and federal rules. There are different combinations of grants that organizations can apply for. So, but I'm not sure if both a PGO and a Folklife Community Grant are something you can get in one year. So we will need to check that and get back to you, and you can definitely reach out afterwards and follow up with us and we can let you know. But I see Alina unmuted, so she might know.
Gotcha.
Hi, good afternoon. So you cannot have the same project. So what happens is because we evaluate them all, if the project even looks familiar to like another project that you did, we may not make it eligible. Sometimes it will go through, but sometimes our panelists, because they do rotate in and out, themselves may say, oh, they already applied for this particular project under this grant, and then themselves will not allow us to fund it. So it's you can't have the same project. And we sometimes we do run into that where we have people who it's like we have one grantee and I think it's an excellent project, but he's applied for multiple of our grants, but the project didn't necessarily change and we had to unfortunately decline them just because it was the exact same project across the span of different grants that we have.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So it would really be more so kind of like understanding what we want to do thoroughly and probably reaching out to you or Brad and saying like, hey, this is what we'd like to do. Like, which one do you feel would be best for our program and what we're trying to do to get the max, grant amount that we're allowed?
And as you heard yesterday, well, probably not in this one, but it was another webinar that I was in. But I do like what they said in that webinar. We are here for you. So we always want to make sure that we are communicating with you just as well as you're communicating with us. We're here, we're part of the public, we're public services. So we're here to serve you. So even if you need to set a meeting with us, come in the office, we're down here in the Southern Nevada in Las Vegas. And then, if you're up in the Reno or somewhere near there, you can always go to the office and speak with someone there. Brad is the only one that doesn't have a counterpart, and he is here in Southern Nevada, but he goes all over the state. But we can always set up Zoom calls with you. We can get our teams on board to have them come in. I want to say last year we met with the Henderson Writers Group, and we just did like just came in on a presentation just for their particular group. So we're open, and we always want to make sure that we're providing the knowledge and the support when applying for these grants as well. So yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that. I'm surprised more people aren't like on the calls and trying to get, this this money. And so we're like, hey, like how can we maximize this? How can we push our artists towards this as well? And, other people that might benefit. So thank you so much. I also received the staff members link there. So thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, will this was recorded and the presentation yesterday, I'm assuming was recorded. Will those be posted so we can review them?
Yeah, they're going to be posted to YouTube along with the grant webinar tomorrow about our arts learning grants. Young will know more details.
The
Okay.
community arts development portion just got posted on YouTube during the session, and this will probably be posted sometime next week, and the arts learning next week. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. And do you guys have any idea when the postponed webinar from Monday will take place?
not at the moment. We will send out communications about that portion of it. We are in the middle of some reworking of the grant, so we cannot release what we have for that currently. So
Okay.
there will be
Cool.
communications, just we don't have anything right now.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Thanks. I have all the questions.
Very good.
In regards to the Nevada Heritage Fellowship and the match versus, oh no, sorry, there was there was a match versus
The
no,
Folklife Community Grant.
the Folklife Community. There we go. And so, just to clarify, you're saying that if our budget is over 5,000, like for that particular event, or just our annual?
So if your annual budget for your organization is over $50,000,
Okay.
then we'll ask that you match the funds.
Okay,
If
gotcha.
less
But
than
it's
that,
that.
then we won't ask you to match. And
Okay.
it's, I mean, one of the eligibility things as an organization you have to apply is we need your IRS tax documents from last fiscal year. And so it'll just, if you just do the little postcard, you don't need a match. If you have to fill out all the IRS paperwork, we'll ask you to match.
Okay, gotcha. I'll have to ask my partner about that. But in regards to, you guys are looking at our fiscal year, or are you looking at based off of,
Your fiscal year.
okay, our fiscal, okay, because
Yeah.
it might be different from you guys's, but
Yeah.
we try to match it up. Okay,
Mhm.
thanks.
All right. If there aren't any more questions, thank you all for being here. I managed to go 57 minutes, and my closing comments might take us those last three into the homes to home. I don't know. Words are complicated. But yeah, as Alina said, please reach out. There is my email in the chat. I love nothing more than just sitting and talking to people about their traditions and hearing about their cool artistic practices and the cool arts things they're doing and the things they're doing to push their tradition forward, regardless of what that tradition is. So I'll just reiterate, we so often think of tradition. It is easy to think of it as bound in ethnic communities, but it is so much more than that. Any kind of cultural group, any kind of art form that is specific to a culture, whether that is beatboxing, whether that is drag, whether that is ski bums knowing the best ski routes and the ways they decorate their skis and snowboards, all of those are culturally specific art forms. All of those things are eligible for arts funding and traditional arts funding. I just need to, and I am also, the expert on how culture works in culture groups. So if you're not sure if something's a traditional art form, reach out and talk to me about it. I can, and if I don't know, I can go and do some research about whether or not this qualifies and whether or not this is something that, gets passed down through your culture and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is what I'm here to do. So please talk to me. If you got a cool art event, let me know and I will just come and check it out and vibe and take photos because that is what I do.
Just one last thing before we leave, because I know this is something that you're doing as well under your department. Did you want to speak on anything with Project 250 really quickly? Or I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, you're good. And yeah, so another thing I spend my time doing is it's America's 250th birthday this year. And there is a lot of different things you can say about that and the history of America and the history of Nevada. So I am working on a project in collaboration with the state's Division of Museums and History called Our Nevada Stories, where I am going around interviewing different Nevadans about their history, their cultural communities, their community's history, and kind of what it means to be a Nevadan, what it means to be an American, broken promises, fulfilled promises, all the warts. I would love to make sure to get all of the warts. That is going to be turned into a podcast coming out later this year, but the hope is that it's going to kind of serve as a seed of different community archiving projects. So as we've got this really cool software called Their Story, that I can give access to organizations who are interested in documenting their communities and doing kind of oral history projects and documenting their community's histories with elders or others in their community. If you are interested in doing that kind of work, let me know. I can set you up with a tech demo of a wonderful magical software. If you've ever interviewed someone and need to transcribe it, it automatically transcribes it and gives you notes and everything, and it's beautiful and it's witchcraft. So if you're interested in your community's history, if you've got, an organization where you have interviews with community elders and are interested in that kind of thing, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you more about that kind of work. All right, with that, I'm a minute over, so I'll let you all go. Thank you all so much for being here. Please feel free to reach out. I can't wait to hear from people about their traditions.
Thank you. Take care.